Can I get a grande drip and a decaf triple grande non-fat extra hot stirred no foam caramel macchiato?
For millions of people, their daily stop at Starbucks is a routine they don't even question.
I love Starbucks.
It's amazing.
I love caffeine.
I want to urge you to boycott Starbucks starting today. The National Labor Relations Board has filed over 80 complaints.
Coffee cup liners are a huge overlooked contributor to microplastic accumulation in our body.
Okay. Larry, could you run back to Starbucks?
For many, Starbucks is a daily ritual, a comforting, familiar experience that fuels our mornings and keeps us going throughout the day. But have you ever stopped to think about what's actually in that cup? Beyond the cozy ambiance, friendly baristas, and fancy drink names, Starbucks has built an empire that thrives on clever marketing, hidden ingredients, and a sugary addiction that keeps customers hooked.
Starbucks, of course, is a coffee shop, but much more than that, right? Starbucks is a whole experience. And that whole Starbucks experience makes me want to strangle people.
When you think of Starbucks, you might imagine a classic cup of coffee, perhaps a steaming mug of freshly brewed black coffee, or an espresso shot to get you through the day.
And one of the reasons that it's my favorite Starbucks is because the people who work there seem delighted to see me in the morning when I come into the Starbucks.
However, the reality is that most customers don't walk into Starbucks for a simple, unsweetened coffee. Instead, they are drawn to the chain's extravagant, sugar-laden beverages that often resemble desserts more than traditional coffee. From flavored lattes to frappuccinos topped with whipped cream, the majority of Starbucks' best-selling drinks contain excessive amounts of sugar, making them more comparable to milkshakes and dessert treats rather than coffee beverages. Take the famous pumpkin spice latte, for example.
Welcome to Starbucks. What can we get started for you today?
Yeah, is pumpkin spice back on the menu?
A grande, medium size, contains around 50 grams of sugar. That's more than the sugar content in a can of Coca-Cola.
Starbucks just unveiled 3 new drinks that sound delicious, but when you see the amount of added sugar here, it's early for Halloween, but it's still downright scary. This is a pumpkin spice frappuccino. It has 65 grams of total sugar. Do you know how much that is? 16 teaspoons of total sugar.
These drinks can have anywhere between 12 to 16 teaspoons of sugar in them. Every one of their drinks, they use lab-synthesized natural flavors to make that taste irresistible to you.
Even the seasonal eggnog latte packs a staggering 41 grams of sugar per serving, surpassing the daily recommended sugar intake of 30 grams for an average adult. Even a standard caramel macchiato or mocha can contain upwards of 30 to 40 grams of sugar, depending on the size and customization. This trend isn't limited to just lattes. The Starbucks Frappuccino line, one of the company's most popular product categories, is essentially a recipe for diabetes in disguise. A grande Java chip Frappuccino contains approximately 55 grams of sugar, nearly double the recommended daily intake for women and well above the limit suggested for men. With whipped cream, syrups, and chocolate drizzle added to many drinks, it's clear that Starbucks has mastered the art of making indulgent, dessert-like beverages that keep customers coming back for more.
Starbucks is facing a class action lawsuit right now. Starbucks launched these drinks that they call fruit refreshers. The only problem, most of them don't have any fruit. With names like mango passion fruit, consumers felt like it was deceit that some of these don't have any fruit whatsoever. We will see what happens with this lawsuit, but overall, Starbucks has some horrible options.
Because of these excessive sugar levels, many health experts argue that Starbucks functions more like a dessert shop than a coffee house. While the company promotes itself as a premium coffee brand, its menu tells a different story, one that revolves around high-calorie, sugar-dense drinks that contribute to health concerns such as obesity, insulin resistance, and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. The high sugar intake associated with these drinks can also lead to energy crashes, mood swings, Alzheimer's, and heart disease. Outside of their sugary drinks, Starbucks also offers an array of pastries, cakes, and cookies, further solidifying its identity as a dessert-driven establishment. While some customers do opt for plain brewed coffee or espresso, these items make up only a fraction of Starbucks' total sales.
Starbucks, they're facing a lawsuit for alleged deceptive marketing of its products. The National Consumers League accuses the coffee giant of lying about being ethically sourced and says its coffee beans and tea leaves come from supply chains that have committed severe human rights and labor abuses.
The real moneymakers are the seasonal, heavily marketed beverages that entice customers with their sweet flavors and indulgent ingredients. Ultimately, Starbucks has successfully branded itself as a coffee company, but in reality, it thrives on selling high-sugar, insulin-spiking drinks disguised as coffee. Consumers should be aware of just how much refined sugar and toxic artificial additives that they consume with each visit. If Starbucks wants to maintain its reputation as a true coffee house, it might need to rethink its menu, or at least provide clear nutritional information so that customers can make more informed choices. One of Starbucks' biggest marketing triumphs has been its infamous secret menu. This unofficial list of colorful, over-the-top drinks has taken social media by storm, enticing customers to try and share the latest viral concoction. From pastel-hued, unicorn-themed frappuccinos to candy-inspired lattes, these drinks are designed to be as Instagrammable as they are indulgent. But beneath the fun, trendy aesthetics lies a serious problem. These beverages are nothing more than sugar-loaded desserts masquerading as coffee. Many of the most popular secret menu drinks contain absurd amounts of sugar, artificial flavors, and syrups. For example, the infamous Unicorn Frappuccino, a limited-time Starbucks offering, packed over 56 grams of sugar in a single grand-size cup, nearly twice the daily recommended limit for an adult. Custom orders like the Cotton Candy Frappuccino or the Skittles Frappuccino swap out coffee for an overwhelming blend of flavored syrups, whipped cream, and artificial colors, making them more comparable to a milkshake than a caffeine boost. But this isn't just a case of indulgence. There's a calculated reason behind Starbucks' sugary creations. The more sugar you consume, the more your body craves it. This is why food scientists and nutrition experts warn about the addictive nature of sugar. It has an alarmingly similar effect on the brain and the same withdrawal symptoms as cocaine. Starbucks has tapped into this craving, crafting drinks that create a cycle of dependency. Customers unknowingly develop a habit of returning for another syrup-filled drink, seeking the same addictive high, rush of sweetness, and temporary energy boost. This strategy isn't unique to Starbucks, but the brand has perfected it. By disguising excessive sugar in visually appealing, customizable drinks, the company has effectively created a socially acceptable sugar addiction. Unlike sodas or candy, which many people recognize as unhealthy, Starbucks beverages are marketed as lifestyle products, something sophisticated, fun, and even essential to daily routines. Instead of questioning the nutritional value, customers eagerly anticipate each new seasonal release, fueling the cycle of sugar dependency. To make matters worse, many people don't realize just how much sugar they're consuming in these drinks. Since Starbucks provides a highly customizable menu, customers often add extra pumps of syrup, whipped cream, or caramel drizzle, further increasing the sugar content. A simple request for extra vanilla or mocha flavoring can turn an already sugary drink into a full-blown dessert with over 60 grams of sugar, the equivalent of eating 15 teaspoons of sugar in one sitting. Ultimately, Starbucks has transformed coffee culture into something far removed from its original purpose. Rather than a place for quality espresso or rich, bold coffee, it has become a hub for sugar overload, dessert-like beverages that keep customers hooked. It's essential to recognize these drinks for what they truly are: a cleverly marketed, socially acceptable, trendy form of sugar addiction. If Starbucks truly cared about its customers' health, it would focus less on gimmicky, artificially sweetened drinks and more on providing healthier, lower-sugar alternatives. Until then, every caramel-drizzled, syrup-infused creation is just another step in keeping customers addicted, one sugar rush at a time. You'd think that a strawberry acai refresher would have real strawberries, right? Wrong. Starbucks was actually sued in a class action lawsuit for misleading customers into thinking their refresher drinks contained real fruit. In reality, these drinks are mostly flavored syrups and artificial ingredients. This is deceptive marketing at its finest. Customers believe they're choosing a healthier, fruit-based option, when, in reality, they're just drinking a sugar-infused chemical cocktail. If you thought that was bad, Starbucks coffee itself has been linked to carcinogenic chemicals. In 2018, a California judge ruled that Starbucks must put a cancer warning on their coffee because it contains acrylamide, a toxic chemical produced during the coffee roasting process. Acrylamide has been linked to cancer in animal studies, and while the coffee industry argues that the levels are low, shouldn't consumers at least be aware of what they're drinking? What's even more concerning is that most people aren't just drinking Starbucks occasionally. They're consuming these chemicals daily. Even if you somehow manage to order a Starbucks drink that isn't filled with sugar and artificial flavors, you still can't escape the toxins. Starbucks cups are lined with plastic that can break down into microplastics and leach harmful chemicals into your drink.
Poisonous cups. Are you drinking from one of these? I was fooled. I was told that this wax on the inside to make it waterproof was just an innocent wax. Oh no, it's a chemical called polyethylene.
Doctors have broken down how these cups contribute to toxic exposure, and studies have raised concerns about how heat and acidity can increase chemical leaching. Think about it. Every sip is introducing microplastics and harmful chemicals into your body. Despite numerous controversies, ranging from child labor allegations and lawsuits to deceptive marketing and even toxic chemicals in their products, Starbucks continues to thrive. By all logic, a company facing such scandals should have collapsed, yet Starbucks remains stronger than ever. The reason? Their marketing is just that powerful. They don't just sell coffee, they sell an experience. They have successfully convinced millions of people that paying $6 for a sugar-filled coffee is completely normal. Their rewards app plays a psychological game, making customers feel like they're winning when, in reality, they're just spending more money. Here's a staggering fact. Starbucks gift cards hold more in deposits than some actual banks. If Starbucks were a financial institution, it would rank in the top 10% of US banks in terms of the money it controls. That's the level of influence they wield over consumer spending. If you strip away the branding, the marketing, and the social status tied to Starbucks, what remains is a sugar factory masked as a coffee shop. The so-called refreshing and healthy beverages are packed with artificial ingredients, while every cup comes with a dose of chemicals and microplastics. People can choose to enjoy Starbucks, but they should at least be aware of what they're consuming. If you choose to support Starbucks, that's your decision. But understand that you're buying into an expertly crafted illusion. So the next time you order that caramel macchiato or pink drink, ask yourself, is this really coffee or just an overpriced dessert in a toxic cup? Thanks for watching. Please like this video, press the subscribe button, and drop your thoughts in the comment section.